Hey everyone, welcome to your deep dive. Today we're going exploring Islamic eschatology and cosmology, and get this, how it connects with modern science.
Sounds fascinating.
It is right. Our guide for this deep dive is a discussion between scholars Muhammad Ali and Sahil Adim.
Okay, I know them. They've done some great work. Where did this discussion take place?
They were hosted by Right Speaking on YouTube, and they really get into some deep stuff.
Like what? Give me a taste.
Time travel, those mysterious figures like the Dajjal and Yajuj Majuj,
Yeah.
and even the seven heavens and earths.
Wow, the whole cosmic picture. It's incredible how these scholars are taking these ancient Islamic beliefs and looking at them through, like, a modern scientific lens.
Right. Especially with all we know now about black holes and nebulae and how vast the universe really is.
Hmm.
It's like science is starting to validate some of these ancient ideas.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like those ancient stories might have a deeper meaning than we initially thought.
Exactly. So let's jump right in. They start off talking about the seven Earths, and Adim, citing Abdullah ibn Abbas, he argues that the Quran hints at multiple Earths beyond our own.
That's a pretty bold claim, and what's the reasoning behind it?
Well, he connects it to the belief that all humans descend from Adam.
Ah, I see where he's going with this. So, if there are multiple Earths, could there be other versions of, like, humanity out there? All coming from the same ancestor, Adam.
Exactly. That's what he seems to be suggesting. Multiple versions of humanity across the cosmos. Mind-blowing, right?
Totally mind-blowing. Makes you rethink our whole understanding of human origins.
Absolutely. Now, black holes have always kind of baffled me. The scholars mention how the Quran describes the sun's setting place as a muddy spring, and Ali connects this to black holes. But how do those two things relate?
Well, you have to remember that a black hole's gravity is so intense that nothing can escape it, not even light.
Right, I've heard that. But what's the connection to the muddy spring?
Ali suggests that the muddy spring could be like an allegorical way of describing the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy.
Oh, so it's like a cosmic sinkhole pulling everything in, including the sun.
Eventually, yes. But we're talking billions of years in the future.
Oh, okay, that makes me feel a bit better. But still, the sun getting pulled into a black hole, it's a pretty wild image.
It is. But to get a clearer picture, we should probably talk a bit about how black holes form in the first place. They're basically the remnants of massive stars that collapse under their own gravity.
So the muddy spring is where a star goes to die.
You could say that. The intense gravity of the black hole just pulls the star's matter in, stretching and compressing it. Scientists call this spaghettification, and it's a pretty violent end.
Spaghettification. Wow, that's intense. Okay, I think I understand that a bit better now. But going back to these multiple Earths, if all humans are from Adam, and there are multiple Earths, does that mean each of these Earths has its own Adam?
That's what Adim seems to be implying. He uses the hadith, the sayings and traditions of the Prophet Muhammad, to support this idea.
So not just multiple Earths, but multiple Adams too.
That's one interpretation, and it really challenges us to rethink our place in the universe.
Seriously, this deep dive is making me rethink everything I thought I knew. Okay, what else did Ali and Nadim talk about?
They moved on to the story of Dhul Qarnayn, a figure from the Quran who travels to the ends of the earth and builds a barrier to hold back Gog and Magog.
Oh yeah, Gog and Magog. Those are like destructive forces that are going to be unleashed in the end times, right?
Exactly. But Adim suggests Dhul Qarnayn's travels weren't just limited to Earth.
Wait, so where else could he have gone?
Adim proposes that Dhul Qarnayn might have been navigating different dimensions or realities.
Hold on, are we talking interdimensional travel here?
That's what he seems to be implying, and this is where Ali connects Dhul Qarnayn's journey to the concept of time travel.
Time travel. So
Yeah.
he's saying Dhul Qarnayn was a time traveler.
Well, Ali highlights his ability to travel vast distances almost instantly, suggesting he might have manipulated space and time somehow.
So maybe Dhul Qarnayn did time travel, or maybe there's another explanation for his incredible journeys.
Exactly. It's a question worth pondering.
Seriously, these ancient Islamic stories might have more wisdom hidden in them than we realize.
I agree. They often offer insights that resonate with our modern understanding of science, even if they're expressed in symbolic language.
Speaking of challenging assumptions, they also brought up that story about the jinn retrieving the throne of Queen Bilqis in the blink of an eye.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. It really shows the supernatural speed and knowledge of the jinn.
I've always been fascinated by the jinn and their abilities. They're like a whole other world unto themselves.
Right. And Adine connects this story to the idea that there might be beings out there with technologies far beyond anything we can comprehend, technologies that could manipulate space and time.
So what we think of as supernatural might actually be just really advanced technology we don't understand yet. Like, what if those ancient stories are actually glimpses into the possibilities of technology?
It's a fascinating possibility, right? What if those stories hold clues about scientific advancements that we haven't even dreamed of yet?
Yeah, it would be incredible.
Mm.
I'm already starting to see these ancient beliefs in a whole new light. So what other cool ideas did they explore?
Well, they went on to talk about the Kaaba, but not just as a physical place. Ali suggests it could represent a point of convergence, maybe even interdimensionally.
The Kaaba as an interdimensional portal. How did he come to that conclusion?
He points to the Kaaba's role in Islamic rituals and its symbolic significance as a unifying point. He also suggests that dreams might be a way of receiving guidance about navigating these other realities.
Whoa, wait. Are they saying dreams could be windows into other realms?
Ali definitely poses that question. He suggests that maybe dreams allow us to tap into a deeper level of reality, one that goes beyond our physical senses.
Wow, that's a pretty profound idea. Makes you wonder what secrets might be hidden in our dreams.
Right. And speaking of secrets, this leads to another fascinating concept they discuss. They bring up this idea of like a vast desert existing within each of the seven heavens.
A desert in each heaven. I don't think I've heard that one before.
It comes from a hadith, and Adim uses it to kind of mess with how we picture these realms. We tend to think vertically, right? Like stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, that's the usual image. 7 heavens, 7 earths, all in a line.
Right, but what if that's not the whole story? Adim proposes that maybe they're not physically stacked, but exist as like separate realms or dimensions, all interwoven with ours, but in ways we don't get yet.
Okay, now that's trippy. So it's less about up and down and more about, I don't even know the words for it, like dimensions beyond our 3D space.
Exactly. It's like those doors we talked about, maybe leading to different realities. These realms might be connected in ways we haven't even imagined.
And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because Adim brings up another hadith, this time about a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, Uwais al-Qarni. He was said to have traveled through the clouds.
Through the clouds, like physically, how is that even possible?
That's what I thought too. But Adim uses it to show how limited we are in understanding time and space. What seems impossible to us, with our current physics, might be totally normal in another realm or dimension. So maybe Uwais al-Qarni wasn't defying physics, he was just operating under a different set of rules, like the laws of physics for that dimension.
Precisely. And then they bring up another symbolic story about a guy named Tariq who tied his horse to a star.
Tie a horse to a star? Come on, that's got to be a metaphor, right?
Of course, it's symbolic. But Adim's point is about human perception. We see stars as fixed, far away, but in other realms, maybe they're not.
So everything we think of as solid and unchanging might be totally different in these other realities. That's wild.
Right. Adim seems to be saying that the universe is way more complex and stranger than we can even wrap our heads around.
I'm getting chills here, thinking about this whole hidden world, just beyond our perception. It's exciting and scary at the same time. Speaking of things that are both, remember that story about the jinn retrieving Queen Bilqis's throne in an instant? I bring that up again?
Oh, yeah, the one where it's moved from Yemen to Jerusalem super fast. That one always had me wondering if it was magic or something else.
Same here. But this time, Ali uses it to talk about advanced technology. He suggests the jinn maybe weren't using magic, but tech we can't even grasp.
Oh.
Whoa, so what we call magic could just be super advanced technology we don't understand yet.
Exactly. And then, to make it even wilder, they bring up interdimensional portals, like those gateways you see in sci-fi movies.
Wait, are they saying the jinn used some kind of portal to move that throne?
They don't say it outright, but Ali hints at it. He points out that the Quran uses the word door a lot to describe moving between realms or states of being.
So those doors could be more literal than we think.
It's a cool thought, right? And this brings them back to Dul Qarnayn. Remember, he built that barrier to hold back Gog and Magog.
Yeah, the impenetrable wall made of iron and copper.
Ali focuses on one specific detail from the Quran, that Gog and Magog can't get through it from the top or the bottom.
Why would that detail be so important?
Ali thinks it might be hinting that the barrier isn't just physical, but exists in another dimension or reality, too.
So it's not just a wall, but a barrier between realms. That's like next level stuff.
It is. And this adds to the idea that Dulkarnain might have understood interdimensional travel or had tech to mess with space and time.
All these stories are starting to click together. It's like a puzzle, and we're seeing the bigger picture now.
Right. And speaking of bigger pictures, they also bring up a concept that challenges the whole idea of multiple realities.
Hold on. After talking about all these different realms and dimensions, they're now questioning if there are multiple realities.
Not exactly questioning, but offering another perspective. They explore the idea of one singular reality instead of many.
So instead of separate dimensions, it's all just one big unified reality. How does that even work?
That's what Ali proposes. He says maybe all these realms are connected, just parts of one single unified reality.
So like a tapestry with tons of threads, but all woven together into one big picture.
Exactly. And Ali points out this fits with the Islamic concept of tawhid, the belief in oneness of God.
So if God is one, then maybe reality is ultimately one too, even if it seems super complex.
That's the idea. And Ali says maybe our minds are just too limited to grasp this. We see it as fragmented because of our own perspective.
This is getting deep, man. It makes you think about how much we don't know and how limited our view of reality might be.
It's humbling, isn't it? And speaking of humbling, they actually shift gears a bit after this. They start talking about the figure of the Mahdi.
The Mahdi, that's a big one. I know he's supposed to appear at the end times, but how does that fit in with all this interdimensional stuff?
Well, Adim draws a parallel between the Mahdi and Dulkarnain. He suggests both might have knowledge and abilities way beyond what we understand.
What kind of abilities are we talking about?
The Mahdi is often described as having supernatural powers, communicating with animals, controlling the weather, that sort of thing.
So is Adim saying the Mahdi could be a time traveler too? Or like an interdimensional being?
He doesn't say it outright, but he definitely leaves the possibility open. He suggests those powers might not be supernatural, but more like advanced technology or knowledge that we just haven't discovered yet.
It's like those stories about the jinn using tech that looks like magic to us. Maybe it's the same idea with the Mahdi?
It's definitely food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings us back to that core theme of this whole deep dive, how ancient Islamic beliefs intersect with modern science.
It's like they're saying we should look at these ancient stories with fresh eyes, using both faith and reason to understand them.
Exactly. It's not about choosing one over the other, but seeing how they can work together.
This has been such a mind-blowing journey. I feel like I've gotten a glimpse into a whole new dimension of reality, literally. It makes you wonder what other hidden truths are waiting to be uncovered in our own beliefs.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? If Islamic scholars are open to interpreting these ancient texts through a scientific lens, imagine the possibilities for other traditions and beliefs too. What mysteries could we unlock by bridging the gap between faith and reason?
It's incredible to think about. I'm definitely going to need some time to process all of this.
I hear ya. It's a lot to take in. But that's what makes it so fascinating. It really challenges you to expand your thinking and question everything you thought you knew.
One thing that stuck with me was how much they emphasized seeking knowledge and understanding. It seems like they're advocating for a more holistic approach, one that integrates traditional wisdom with modern science.
Absolutely. They're not saying to abandon one for the other, but to see how they can complement and enrich each other. It's about bringing those two worlds together.
And I loved how they used modern scientific concepts to shed light on these ancient Islamic beliefs. It's like they're showing us that those stories aren't just myths or fairy tales, but hold profound insights into the nature of reality.
It's a good reminder that just because something is ancient doesn't mean it's irrelevant. There's so much wisdom to be found in those traditions.
Totally. So much of what they talked about resonated with stuff we know from modern science, like cosmology, quantum physics, even consciousness. It's like they were tapping into a level of knowledge that goes beyond time and culture.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, we're all part of this giant cosmic story, and these ancient traditions are offering us clues to help us understand it better.
It's humbling, but also inspiring, you know? Like, there's so much more to discover, and we're just scratching the surface.
Exactly. It's a call to keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop seeking knowledge.
Well said. This deep dive has left me feeling both awestruck and incredibly curious. I'm excited to keep digging into these ideas and see where they lead.
Me too. That's what makes life so interesting, right? There's always something new to learn and explore.
So true. Well, that wraps it up for this deep dive. I hope you enjoyed this journey as much as we did. And to everyone listening, keep seeking knowledge, keep questioning, and keep exploring the wonders of the universe. Until next time, keep diving deep